I'm going to go through this fast. I'm going to make sure that you understand how to bake a material, all your materials into one atlas and make it look like it's good quality. Thank you to the VrChat Discord for telling me how to do this, and let's just get started. So first up, what you want to do is turn on the goddamn timer. Next up, you want to make sure that you go to your UV maps, make a UV map, name it baked, and then select that. I already set up the UV island, so that's why it looks different, but don't worry about that. Anyways, next step, you want to go to your materials. You want to scroll down all the way down to the MMD texture. Make sure that the texture you use for each material, for example, this one is called the hair, make sure that has the hair texture assigned to it. Next up, after you're finished with that, you want to go to the UV editing mode, and you want to make sure to make a new image. You want to name it the name of your character. Like, for example, mine's Kasumi. I don't care. Alright, click and drag so that you select both of them at the same time. Do *4. That makes it a 4K texture atlas. Click OK. Next up, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have UV sync selection on and you have face select on, so that each of the islands, whenever you click on select, they appear. Now, originally, all of it is like mashed together and you have to like sort it out. I just basically size it down, and then I sometimes move over a few things, like stuff like skin. Make sure that's big so that it has better quality. Stuff like the face, make sure it's big so that it has quality. So I usually put the hair and the face at the top and make them the biggest I can, and then I make everything else smaller around it because they don't really need that much better quality compared to the hair and the face, since that's mainly what you're going to stare at. After you set that up with each of these and you make sure that the textures are all assigned, I forgot to assign a texture, so let me do that real quick. What texture is this? Okay, that's this skin, so I'm gonna put in the Kasumi skin. And then I'm pretty sure I also forgot about the shoes too. Yeah, and then so this would be Kasumi shoes in this one. So now that I have all the textures aligned, I believe, let's just double check the eyes, the face. I know that the face has it, right? Yeah, the face has it. I just did the shoes and the skin. The top also has the texture, and the hair, that also has a texture. So after I make sure all of those have a texture, next step is going to the shading workspace and make sure that none of the UV islands are overlapping. Make sure there's a little bit of space in between so that the textures do not overlap and you get a weird result. And go to shading. Next up, the reason why we put in the textures is because in the in the shading workplace, it's going to show an MMD base texture. Make sure to Control C and Control V and move it to the side, to the left, not the right, or else it's going to somehow connect. Next up, you go to the baked, and then you do Control C, and then you go to each material and hit Control V. Each material. So do that real quick. Make sure it's not connected to any modules. Make sure that each one has an MMD base texture, or else it's going to appear black in the texture atlas and you're going to have to redo it again. So now that you have all of them selected in each material, after checking each material, you are now ready to bake. Next up, go to the render options. Make sure that the render engine is cycles. Make sure it's GPU compute. Make sure that the bake type is diffuse. Direct and indirect are unselected, and make sure the output is 10 pixels. And then after that, you're ready to bake. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. After your thing is done baking, also I forgot to mention, but make sure that your body is selected and then you bake, or else it's not going to bake. So once it's done, check out the texture paint, I believe. And it should pop out something like this. Let's take a look. Yeah, and you see how everything's not overlapping. It's all perfect textures. Next up, what you want to do is go to image, save as, and then save it as an image. You can name it whatever. I already have mine saved. And then there's one final step that you need to do. Make sure to make the baked UV map your original. Delete the original UV map. Make sure to name this one UV map. UV map. make sure to go to your materials, make a new material, name it baked. Next up, go to edit mode, hit A, hit assign. Everything's gonna be white. That's because he didn't put in the texture yet. The texture is cost me baked. That is not the right texture. There we go, cost me baked. And then after that, make sure that the reflect value is set to 1. And then you could remove unused slots. And now you only have one material. And that is how you bake a UV map and textures into one single atlas. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. This took me a little bit. I'm gonna edit this pretty quickly and then I'm gonna put it onto YouTube so that a friend can see it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice day, and I'll possibly see you another time. We'll see.